New at 10 and only on 2 tonight, a former Houston mail carrier accused of stealing millions of dollars in checks that should have been delivered to your mailboxes. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on KPRC 2 News at 10. I'm Daniela Guzman. My co-anchor Keith Garvin is off tonight. Well, that mailman delivered to an area where 125,000 Houstonians call home, and tonight he is one of 5 people indicted. KPRC 2's Bryce Newberry joining us now live to explain how this scheme worked.
Yeah, Daniela, this is really the last person that you'd expect to be stealing your mail. And the way that all of this happened is a little bit unbelievable. Postal workers who steal and sell checks are common enough to have a street name. They're known as postal plugs. That's according to a law enforcement source who tonight tells me these checks are in high demand right now. This group is accused of using an encrypted messaging app and an underground lingo to try and pull all of this off. This post office on Houston's northeast side, now at the center of a multi-million-dollar theft ring. It started with USPS credit cards being swiped for fuel, seen here filling up non-USPS vehicles at odd hours. Then hundreds of thousands of dollars in checks that should have been delivered along the Roy Royal Post Office's mail routes spanning these 5 zip codes began disappearing.
It's like every route that he touched, people was complaining. They was getting complaints about mail was coming up missing.
That's a postal employee who used to work at Roy Royal who asked to remain anonymous, fearing retaliation.
It made me angry at that time. It is thieves working amongst the postal service. I'm pretty sure he's not the only one.
Investigators from the USPS Inspector General's office opened a criminal investigation in 2022. And when Houston police served a search warrant at this house last November because they say it had been rented using a stolen identity, they started uncovering more of a mail theft and check fraud scheme.
The person inside this residence is a mail carrier. Officers immediately began to notice a lot of mail that was not addressed to the legal residents.
Through search warrants for homes, cell phones, and Instagram, combined with timesheets and attendance records, what happened to all those checks, mostly belonging to small businesses, became clearer.
And in the case of every check that was stolen, that was found either in his vehicle or through images in his phone, they were able to pair up a route that he had worked on or about the exact day the check went missing.
Records show the checks included monthly Social Security and disability payments, as well as federal tax refunds. A Harris County grand jury just indicted 26-year-old Cameron Goodwin, a Roy Royal postal carrier of 2 years, for engaging in organized crime and theft. He's now accused of running a vast criminal network, stealing well over $1 million in checks straight from the mail between August and November of last year, then brokering them to bidders for a flat fee. Alleged bidders like Keyshawn Jones and Sylvester Brown. Brown seen here handling the checks while wearing a glove allegedly to conceal his fingerprints. After posing with stacks of cash, investigators believe he got through theft and fraud. The transactions usually got discussed over Telegram, prosecutors say, a hard-to-track encrypted messaging app.
They don't cooperate in most conventional ways.
According to a law enforcement source, the accused used code words referring to checks as slips, calling those from the U.S. Treasury stimmies, and altered slips are known to be cooked. How prevalent is this kind of thing in the postal system?
There are certainly more postal employees that are doing this. I couldn't comment on how many, but I will tell you, if you're doing it, your case is probably being worked already, and you may think you're getting away with it. You're not.
Investigators tracked some stolen money to bank accounts in Louisiana they say belonged to Keyshawn Jones's girlfriend and her mother, both now also indicted for theft.
I think some of these folks are thieves before they come to the postal service, to be honest with you.
For honest and hardworking postal employees, it's a scheme that stings.
But not everybody is bad at the postal service. You know, it's embarrassing that everybody that drives them trucks put on these uniforms. It's bad on everybody. That looks bad for everybody.
And Goodwin resigned from the Postal Service after his initial arrest. But tonight, none of the 5 people now indicted have been arrested on these new charges. The Postal Service and federal law enforcement have not answered any of our questions about how these types of issues are being handled or how Houston compares to other areas when it comes to internal mail theft. But we do have a couple of tips on how to protect your checks in the mail with this story right now at click2houston.com. I'm Bryce Newberry, KPRC 2 News.
All right.